All right, here's a really nice luxury design build we put together. Patio cover barbecue area, outdoor kitchen, beautiful pool with travertine pavers that we laid. They're 2 foot by 2 foot in size, and we laid 4 of them together, so it creates a 4 foot by 4 foot overall square, grass in between, little design screenshot. There's the actual build coming together, stucco post, steel post, double beam, steel reinforcement to beams. Here we are setting the palm trees. These are Phoenix dactylifera palms. Most people know them as dact palms. Using a boom forklift to crane and set and transport these things into the backyard off of the flatbed tractor trailer in the front yard. It's always fun when you get to play with some heavy equipment on some of these jobs that we work on. That boom forklift is up so high in the air that I can't remember if it was myself or Austin driving the forklift at that point, but we were a little concerned that thing could tip and, of course, fall into the house, and it's exactly what we would not want it to do. So just taking it real easy and slow, feeling every movement of the piece of equipment by the operator, making sure that it doesn't go full tilt, because that would not be a good thing. But we had to wrap carpet around as padding. We put a choke on the palms to lift them, and then transport them safely into the backyard with the piece of equipment. And take it real easy when you're setting these things, whether you're using a crane or boom forklift. It's acting like a crane in this instance. A little bit of drone footage. You can see the overall project. Still in bare dirt form. All the underground is done at that point for all the plumbing for the pool and the power for the pool. The trenches were ran. It's all covered back up. Equipment for all that is over there behind that forklift unit that's in the video frame. Here's the setup for the pergola. We had to use 1/4-inch thick steel square tube, 3-inch by 3-inch posts, red iron. We prime paint them, protect the raw steel. Then we have to plumb square them, get them set up, run string lines, set forms before we're able to actually pour this concrete, because those poles are tall and heavy, and you cannot just sit there and follow a string line like what most guys do. Can easily mess up the square and the plumb for these poles if they're not set properly from the get-go before you go to pour the concrete. Little after picture of that. Got the fire bowls running in the background. Cypress trees, those are Italian cypress trees. A couple of them still need to be tied up. Look like a bad haircut back there. Nice blue water pool, gray tile on the raised wall. The shear descent waterfalls are not running in this video. It's just because the pool or the pump is, the valve might be shut off. Little overall. There's a nice picture of the overall of the job. There's a lot of those 4 foot by 4 foot paver pads that we had to lay. Set lines. We had to set those with the dry mortar mix, and then we watered them in over time like a bag of concrete would get rained on and turn super hard. So that's the method that we use to lay those, just because when you try to wet lay those things, the wet mortar mud, concrete mud, would walk the pavers around, and you set 2 or 3 of them, and then you go back, and then you find that they moved out of place because the wet mud would have walked. It's a fantasy brown granite that we put on the countertop of these, the barbecue and the tabletop. Nice stainless steel grill and sink. We plumbed in a water faucet. We gave them a water heater that we put underneath in the cabinet below. Little backsplash, Arctic white stone, stuccoed the backside, fantasy brown granite, and Arctic white stone. This nice stone we did on the vertical wall portions of this project, below the table on that media wall. Barbecue tied in really nice with the Mara white travertine that's on the ground. Some LED lighting underneath the overhang of the backsplash and the cabinet with the countertop. There's a little bit of video. While the barbecue unit was under construction, we used a heavy-duty gauge 6-inch wide stud. We used an 8-inch wide stud for the raised backsplash wall. Laid a proper concrete foundation, attached track to the bottom, did the stud framing, ran 1/2-inch concrete board. Most guys you find around town will use a really small, thin gauge 3-inch stud frame, and then they'll just set it on top of the paver. I like to set a proper footing foundation, same way as if you're building a house. That way there, your construction will never bend, fold, tweak. That's what you see a lot of times when guys put these barbecues together, and they're a little flimsy. And they move around. By the time you put the granite on there and you do the either stucco or stone on it, your construction can easily tweak out of place. You're putting a lot of heavy weight on it. That's why I like to lay a proper footing foundation for these things. That wall sitting on a proper footing, stem wall footing. Same as the tabletop. Again, 6-inch stud frame construction, 1/2-inch concrete board, concrete foundation, ran power over to it, so there's electrical that can be plugged in, and then of course power for the LED lighting. Put the under cabinet of the sink on the back side, so it was less stainless steel on the front side of that barbecue, so our access would be on the back side. Pile of type 2 sitting over there, ready for prep on the paver floor. We do lay all of our pavers per ICPI spec. ICPI is Interlocking Concrete Paver Institute. They advocate or set specs to use type 2 base materials and sand base materials. A lot of amateurs I see around town will use a white chat base material, which is a 1/4 inch minus, stone dust, not this proper base material to use, because when it gets hydrated it'll walk around and move, and then of course if your base material is moving that you lay your pavers on top of, that'll move also. This video snippet is kind of approaching the end of the project. Still got some remnants laying around, turf remnants, still under construction underneath the pergola with the kitchen. Media wall is in place. Got our extra beams we placed up underneath that patio cover. That was a custom designed pergola with the way we had to run the beams and span the panels. We did all 10-inch wide spacing on the turf on this project. Did our French drain running right there at the edge of the coping underneath that turf, all the way through the entire yard for pool drain and overall yard drain. If you notice and look closely, you see a very subtle swale on those floating pads where both sides slope into the middle. If you follow that middle grass line at the edge of the pool coping, that's where we placed our French drain all the way through. Of course, got the big DAC palms in the ground, got the drain tubes down there. Extra pavers over there in the background to finish off that area. This pool came out really nice. Love the coping, love the colors on the raised wall, gray tile. Did a Baja shelf on this one with a wet deck. That Baja shelf is about knee-deep water. The wet deck is about ankle-deep water. And of course, one step down into the 3-foot depth of that pool, on and down to the 8-foot depth. This outdoor kitchen's the ultimate entertainment area for cooking, grilling. All right, so I wanted to go back to the very beginning of this project, show you these pictures of what the bare dirt backyard looked like, the before in this project, back to the point when we were pulling a tape measure, measuring the perimeter walls and all the setbacks and stuff. There's some pictures of the original main patio. It was just a regular concrete paver that of course got turned into white marble travertine. There's overhead fly-in of the 3D design render showing the pool, the whole backyard, the pergola, barbecue, some still shots of the screenshot, different materials in these screenshots. Of course, we can change out the materials and stuff like that in the design phase of the project. It's the whole purpose of the design. See what it looks like beforehand before we start the project, so we're not changing anything out in the middle of the project. Some night shots, nighttime video of what this backyard looks like at night. Beautiful path lights, spotlights. The lights under the lid of this patio cover are off in this in particular video, but the LED lights under the countertops are on. You get the different colors out of those LEDs. Those are super cool. Fire bowls running at night create the ultimate sort of entertainment nightlife experience in your own backyard. Drones hovering over the water. You can see the ripples on the water, the pool. Of course, the pergola in the background with the lights on underneath the cabinets and the countertops. All those LED lights change color also. The whole color of the entire rainbow in those LED lights, they're pretty nifty. And then little fly through coming into the main patio, showing more of the white marble 24-inch by 24-inch Mayro white. Shows up really nice at night on that stone paver.